All right, guys. On Saturday, we have UFC on Fox 30, and we have a co-main event to discuss. We have Jose Aldo, the former champion for a long time through the WEC and the UFC. He's back. He wants that road back to the title. That title belt that was taken away from Max Holloway. Well, first, you got to go through Jeremy Stephens, and he's been on fire. Jeremy Stephens has been fighting the best I've ever seen him. He's always been a pretty violent individual, but it's like he's taking it to new heights, really crushing people in this last year or so where he's been on this run.
I guess the odds really don't surprise me. I mean, Aldo should be some type of favorite of some sort. He is the great Jose Aldo. Sure, he's been stopped in 3 of his last 4, but those were 2 to the same guys and 2 of those 2 amazing fighters that were those guys to do that. So you don't want to discount him too soon, but is the speed and stuff starting to go? You know, we see that go at the lighter weight classes. The older fighters don't translate as well into age as they do at maybe heavyweight per se, where guys can kind of have multiple resurgences. But it's not so much of that trend here. It's just because Jeremy Stephens is not just an underdog. He's the underdog. He's one of my top 5 underdogs if you follow my work, but he's always a guy that's always in the fight. He's durable, has knockout power, underrated wrestling, and to be honest, underrated everything. People have not really given Jeremy Stephens the credit he's been deserved technically. You know, he's been forever that junkyard dog in the UFC stable, but that junkyard dog just figured out how to work his own chain. I got Jeremy Stephens here.
And let's not forget those leg kicks he's added. Man, he's been pretty brutal there. And of course, Jose Aldo was always talked about having the best leg kicks, you know, in the game. And man, you got to watch out for Jeremy Stephens too.
You know, I started off thinking I was going to go with Jose Aldo, and I really started breaking it down, and he didn't look that bad in his last fight up until losing the fight. But if you take a look at the trends that's going on right now, a lot of these legends, guys that we kind of grew up within the sport, Shogun, Rashad, they're all just kind of going away, and this younger guard is really starting to take over, and I think it's going to continue this weekend. Now I'm going to go with Jeremy Stephens in this one.
All right. Wow. Well, you know, we discussed it yesterday, and you just brought it up today, but same thing, man. Jose Aldo, when he lost to Max Holloway in the last fight, he didn't look as bad as it was made out to be. Sure, you know, he got stopped, and of course, I mean, Max just became a superstar on that night because now he had vanquished him 2 times, but still, Jose Aldo, I felt like still had a lot of fight left. He still looked as fast as ever, and he was throwing, you know, with reckless abandon. I mean, his power shots that he hadn't been throwing the last few years, even when he was successful, when he was kind of cruising to the finish line, I didn't see him, you know, going back to those WEC days when he was just more violent. But in that fight, he was. So I'm expecting him to continue with that, because I think if he goes back, if he's one of those fighters that doesn't go back and looks and sees what he did, then maybe I'm wrong. But I think he's going to go back and go, wait a minute, I didn't fight so bad. I probably could have taken out anyone that night except for Max Holloway, who's got my number. I don't know if he'd ever say that, but you guys know what I mean. So therefore, I'm sticking with Jose, man. I think he's got the speed advantage. I think he can match the power pretty close to Jeremy Stephens. I mean, you know, he's got 1-punch power like Stephens does. He's got those great leg kicks, and he's so athletic, man. I don't know if he'll be a stationary target for Jeremy Stephens. And I've always lauded his defense, too. Even though he's been getting cracked, like Dan said, 3 of his last 4 haven't gone his way. I've always been impressed with his defense over the years. It's just when you get that at that high level, you just can't win them all. So I'm sticking with Jose Aldo in this one, fellas. You sure you want to change your mind? It's a good one.
Okay, I'll change my mind. I'll go with Jose Aldo.
How about you, Dan? Tom, you're staying?
The article's not written, but you're probably going to see the Jeremy Stephens name when you just scroll down here.
And this is the guy that's leading the staff picks. So if we were ever going to change, we should be changing to the other guy. But there you have it. There's our co-main event breakdown for UFC on Fox 30 on Saturday night. Big Fox. They're on Big Fox. Jose Aldo versus Jeremy Stephens.